Hey everybody, welcome back. For those of you guys that are new, my name's Brad, own my own multi-million-dollar private practice. I have now 4 locations, about to open number 5. One of those is pretty special and unique, but I'll talk about that more in the future. Today, let's talk about how the hell I deal with the slow season, because everyone's going to have it. Whether you just started or you're still growing, you're going to have a dip eventually, and it really screws with your mind, or at least it screws with mine. So let's get into how I deal with the slow seasons and when are your usual slow seasons. I will say for me in primary care, there are usually 2 times a year whenever there's a slow season. It's usually back to around like school, either in or out of session. So that's like right around for me, somewhere around May to like maybe August, like right when school goes out of session, in session. Since I don't see kids, a lot of my adults that I see, they're out taking their kids to the beach. They're out taking them on vacation. So we always see a dip during like that time back to school. The other time that we've historically seen a dip, and I know a lot of you guys are like, January, deductibles reset. No, you're not right. September. September is looking back at every single year, we take about a 15% dip every single September, no matter how big I am. The interesting thing is that I went online looking for like company, because misery likes company, right? And I went and found a bunch of dental forums where they started calling it Suck-tember. And they're like, dude, every year, September just sucks for dental practices. And then I realized, you know, it also sucks for us. I think it's because maybe kids back in session, the parents are busy, I don't know. Could be, and then flu season hasn't ramped up yet, could be a lot of things. For a lot of you like surgical specialists, January is usually slowest because deductible like resets. For us, January is one of our busiest years because December and January tend to be like peak flu season, and payments always slow down in December. I feel like they're trying to cook the books and they like hold off on payment until January, and January tends to always be like one of our best financial months ever. So it's different. You know, I talk to a lot of you guys and consult with a lot of you guys that have your own private practice that are more surgical based. Yeah, January and February, definitely your slowest time. And the last 3 months of the year, always your busiest time. Not for us. September is always our slowest. So let me get into it. How the hell do I deal with it? Well, one is we reach out to the community. I have my office manager go around knocking on doors, bringing them little bundt cakes or cookies or whatever, saying like, hey, we're primary care. Don't forget to send us patients your way. You got to re-engage those people that are sending you a lot of referrals. The next thing that I do is I look at, okay, how are our metrics doing? It's interesting. I feel like every 4 or 5 months I go and I have my Google ads that are running and they perform beautifully until they just stop performing really well. And I've noticed that this year, last year, and the year before, all of my ads stopped performing well in September and then I had to reset them. I'm getting a little tinfoil hat on here, but I wonder if also Google updates an algorithm or something happens in September, because literally it just plummets like off a cliff. And Google even highlights it that my conversions not converting anymore. So what do I do with that? I always cancel the Google ad. I restart another Google ad. It takes about a week or 2 to learn. And then the rest is it goes back to normal. It's totally fine. But that's what I have to do. I have to delete that ad because Google always learns off of recent past behavior. And then I just start another one and it goes back to normal. I also engage in other advertised avenues. So like I've noticed for me, September, Facebook seems to actually convert well, where usually it doesn't convert amazingly well. So we started Facebook ads again. The other thing that we started doing is more internal things, like we started sending out more newsletters. We started noticing that, okay, if someone's due for a refill, then we really hardcore like create an algorithm on, okay, we're gonna call them. If they don't answer, we're gonna text them 2 times. If they don't do that, then we're gonna send them an email. There are ways to recall these visits so that you can get busy again. But there's always this slump for me in primary care around September. And I won't lie that it drives me freaking nuts. I mean, the anxiety, I can just feel it bubbling through the roof whenever I'm seeing and looking at schedules that are like, why isn't it busy? And I'll tell you, it didn't help that because we're growing so freaking much, I hired another nurse practitioner, and I mean, the doc that is gonna work with her was booked out like 10 days in the future, almost 14 days in the future. And then September came, and he went to booked out 1 day in the future. And of course, then my new nurse practitioner, who I was like, we're gonna blow you up and get you so busy right away. Nah, she had like 2 patients a day on her schedule. Now, in the past week or so, back up to like, he's booked out a week in the future, she's seeing 10 to 15 people a day. There are gonna be always these ebbs and flows, but during the slow periods, one, misery likes company. Reach out to me or go online and, you know, sometimes it's nice just to hear like, yeah, I'm slow too, all right? It helps me. totally fine to build your community of entrepreneurs because it is a small community. There's not that many of us that own private practices, which I believe is going to start growing in the future, but it's still a small world. And two, don't think the sky is falling. Don't start giving your staff the impression that terminations are coming, that you're going to have to scale down. No, that's when you push on the gas for advertising and or trying new things, try a new service line. We tried after-hour visits. The after-hour visits amazingly profitable and everyone loves them, and not a single person balks at the $25 extra fee that we put on top of it for these extra after-hours visits. Whenever you're going through the slow period, especially if you're like a surgeon, and you're doing surgical things where the lead time is huge, you want to spend as little time in clinic as possible and you want to be in the OR, then is the time to work on your funnel. How are the patients coming through? If it's mainly through referrals, you better be reaching out to those referrals. If it's mainly through organic kind of people finding you, dig into SEO and or dig into advertising. You got to lean into that. The interesting thing with advertising is that Google is still the top performing thing, but I have noticed that if you have a good hook and call to action, Facebook can perform really well. But you got to have a good hook and call to action. What do I mean by hook and call to action? I like to use the example in the summertime, if you, let's say, want to do weight loss, if you have something on there, you have to be a legit script certified. But if you have something on there that says hey, want to get beach bikini bod ready, half of the population you're reaching out to, and out of those half, a good percentage of them are going to stop and be like, you know what? I am going to the beach in 3 months. Maybe I should. Click here to save 10% by being the first 50 people to do the weight loss treatments. Cool. There's your hook. There's your call to action to make them click on it. The final thing that I'll leave you guys with is really think about, is it truly slowing down, especially when you're in the phase that I'm in, or are you just growing like crazy? So I was like, oh my God, we are slowing down massively. All these people that were full are not full anymore. And then I looked at the numbers and I was like, actually, we're busier than ever. And with the marketing that I did, we're up 20% month over month. However, we've added 2 new providers. So those 2 new providers, in addition to the 7 that we already had, it just spread the love of all those visits to those other ones. So then when it looked like our schedule wasn't as full, sure, the average person was not seeing as many as they were before, but the number of visits that we were seeing, up 20%. It just, I think, eats at me as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to not see completely full schedules, because I like to be busy and I like my clinic to be insanely busy. But the number one mistake that I see a lot of y'all make is that you're not marketing. You're not marketing near enough during those slow seasons. That's when you got to step on the gas. You got to try to throw gasoline on the fire, and Facebook and Google's the way to go. If you want me to consult with you guys, I consulted with over 600 of y'all so far. I'll leave a link below. When is your slow season? Or are you just starting out and things are a little slower? Well, now's the time. Now's the time to market. Now's the time to go knock on people's door and let them know. And then now's the time to try maybe new things if you've been practicing for a little while. Maybe people want after hours care. Maybe people are asking for weight loss therapy or hormone replacement therapy. Like many things in business, you got to adapt or die. And there's going to be changes on the horizon with AI and with all these things that are going to be coming. It's getting pretty good. It's not 100% there yet, but the next couple of years, we're all going to have to adapt. I appreciate every single one of y'all that follow along. I'll see you guys on the next one. See y'all later.